Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving headfirst into the awesome world of 3D modeling. If you've ever wondered how those crazy realistic video game characters come to life, or how engineers design everything from rockets to toasters, you're in the right place. 3D modeling is basically the coolest way to take an idea from your brain and turn it into, well, something you can actually see and spin around in a digital space. It's like sculpting, but instead of clay, you're using ones and zeros. So buckle up, because over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what 3D modeling is, explore all the different ways people are using it to change the world, and even show you some of the tools you can use to start creating your own digital masterpieces. Let's do this! Alright, so let's start with the basics. What exactly 3D modeling? Imagine building a Lego castle, but instead of using clunky plastic bricks, you're using tiny little digital building blocks. That's basically what 3D modeling is. It's the process of creating a three-dimensional object inside a computer using specialized software. These objects can be anything you can dream up. Characters for your favorite video game, a super detailed model of a human heart for medical training, even a virtual replica of the entire Roman Colosseum. Now you're probably thinking, okay, but how does it actually? Well, it all starts with a bunch of points in space called vertices. Think of them like connect the dots. You connect these vertices with lines called edges, and then you fill in the spaces between those edges with surfaces, kind of like digital origami. These surfaces can be flat or curved depending on what you're trying to create. And the more vertices, edges, and surfaces you have, the more detailed and realistic your model becomes. It's kind of like the difference between drawing a stick figure and a super realistic portrait. The more detail you add, the more lifelike it becomes. And just like there are different ways to draw, there are different ways to create 3D models. We'll get into those techniques later. But for now, just know that it's all about manipulating those digital building blocks to bring your vision to life. But here's the really cool part. 3D modeling isn't just about creating still images. Once you've built your model, you can make it move, animate it, and even add special effects like lighting and textures to make it look unbelievably real. So we've covered the basics of what 3D modeling is, but where does it actually show up in the real world? And I'm not just talking about the digital world, although we'll definitely get there. Remember that awesome animated movie you watched last week? Yeah, 3D modeling was probably a huge part of bringing those characters and fantastical worlds to life. From the smallest details on a character's face to epic, sprawling landscapes, 3D modeling is the backbone of modern animation, but it goes way beyond just entertainment. Imagine you're an architect designing a skyscraper. Instead of just looking at flat blueprints, you can actually walk through a virtual version of the building, see how the light falls at different times of day, and even test out different design elements before a single brick is laid. That's the power of 3D modeling. And if you're an engineer designing a new car, you can use 3D modeling to simulate crash tests, optimize the car's aerodynamics, and even test out different materials and manufacturing processes, all before a single piece of metal is cut. But wait, there's more. 3D modeling is also revolutionizing the medical field. Surgeons can use 3D models of patients' organs to plan complex surgeries with incredible precision, and researchers can create detailed models of viruses and bacteria to develop new, life-saving treatments. And let's not forget about video games. Remember those realistic characters and immersive environments we talked about earlier? That's all thanks to the magic of 3D modeling. From the weapons your character uses to the sprawling cities you explore, 3D modeling is what makes those virtual worlds feel so real. And the coolest part, this is just the tip of the iceberg. 3D modeling is constantly evolving, and as technology advances, the possibilities are practically limitless. Okay, so we've seen how 3D modeling is used in the real world, but let's dive a little deeper into the different types of 3D models out there. Because believe it or not all 3D models are created equal. The most common type of 3D model is called a polygonal model. Remember those vertices, edges, and faces we talked about earlier? That's what makes up a polygonal model. Think of it like a digital connect-the-dots picture where each polygon is like a tiny piece of a jigsaw puzzle, all fitting together to create the final image. polygonal models are great for creating objects with sharp edges and flat surfaces, like buildings, furniture, and even characters with a more blocky, geometric style. But what if you want to create something more organic, like a flowing character or a sleek sports car? That's where NURBS modeling comes in. NURBS stands for Non-Uniform Rational B-Spline, which is a fancy way of saying it uses mathematical curves and surfaces to create smooth, flowing shapes. Think of it like sculpting with digital clay. You can push, pull, and mold the surface to create any shape you can imagine. NURBS models are great for creating objects with smooth, flowing lines like cars, airplanes, and even human faces. Then there are subdivision surface models, which are kind of like a hybrid between polygonal and NURBS models. They start with a low-resolution polygonal mesh, but then use a special algorithm to smooth out the surface, creating a more organic look. It's like taking a rough draft and polishing it up into a masterpiece. Each of these 3D modeling types has its own strengths and weaknesses, and the best type for a particular project depends on the desired level of detail, the complexity of the object, and the software being used. Alright, so you know the different types of 3D models, but how do you actually create them? Well, just like there are different ways to paint a picture, there are different techniques for building a 3D model. One popular technique is called box modeling. Imagine you're a digital sculptor, but instead of starting with a lump of clay, you start with a simple shape like a cube or a sphere. Then you use tools to push, pull, extrude, and manipulate that shape until it resembles your desired object. It's like molding a piece of digital Play-Doh. Another technique is polygon modeling, where you build your model piece by piece, adding and connecting individual polygons to create the desired shape. It's like building a house brick by brick, carefully placing each polygon to create walls, windows, and a roof. Then there's digital sculpting, which is exactly what it sounds like. You use a variety of digital brushes and tools to shape and mold your model just like you would with real clay. This technique is great for creating organic shapes like characters, creatures, and even realistic human faces. And finally, there's lofting. This technique involves creating a two-dimensional shape, like a profile or cross-section of your object, and then lofting it along a path to create a three-dimensional form. It's like taking a cookie cutter and moving it through dough to create a cookie. Each of these techniques has its own strengths and weaknesses, and the best approach often depends on the specific project and the artist's personal preference. So we've covered the what and the how of 3D modeling. Now, let's talk about the with what. Because to bring your digital creations to life, you're going to need the right tools. Thankfully, there's a whole world of amazing 3D modeling software out there, each with its own strengths and specialties. First up, we have Blender. This bad boy is completely free and open source, making it the perfect gateway drug into the world of 3D modeling. Don't let the price tag fool you, though. Blender is packed with powerful features and is used by everyone from hobbyists to industry professionals. Next, we have Autodesk Maya. This is the industry standard for a reason. Maya is a powerhouse of a program used for everything from creating stunning visual effects in blockbuster movies to developing cutting-edge video games. It's a bit pricier than Blender, but if you're serious about 3D modeling, it's definitely worth checking out. Then there's 3D Systems Max, another industry giant. 3D Systems Max is known for its intuitive interface and powerful modeling tools, making it a popular choice for architects, product designers, and game developers. And let's not forget Cinema 4D. This program is famous for its ease of use and its motion graphics capabilities, making it a favorite among motion designers and visual effects artists. These are just a few of the many amazing 3D modeling software options available. The best one for you will depend on your specific needs, budget, and skill level. But no matter which software you choose, the most important thing is to just dive in and start creating. Well, there you have it. We've journeyed through the exciting world of 3D modeling, from its basic principles to its mind-blowing applications. We've explored different types of models, uncovered powerful techniques, and even peeked at the software that brings it all to life. Remember, 3D modeling is more than just lines on a screen. It's a form of digital art, a powerful tool for innovation, and a gateway to endless creative possibilities. Who knows, maybe the next big thing in animation, gaming, or even medicine will be sparked by your 3D creations. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of 3D modeling, give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on more awesome content. Until next time, Keep those creative sparks flying. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the world of 3D modeling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more informative content. See you next time.